Pod Sounds Cool presents Content Jefe, the podcast that helps online business owners make better content and more money. Let's Jefe. Hello, amigo, amigazo, Content Jefe. Welcome to the Content Jefe podcast brought to you by the Pod Sounds Cool. I'm Veronica.
I'm Studio Steve.
This podcast is for you if you're an online business owner or content creator trying to figure out content creation and how to make money online. Each episode will bring you inside the content marketing world so you can make better content and more money.
And in this episode, we are talking about how vanity metrics don't always equal money. Millions of followers doesn't always mean millions of dollars. We've got a lot of fun stuff to cover, so we better get started.
This is an episode I'm excited about.
I'm pretty excited about this episode,
how you feel about
too.
Talking about TikTok influencers.
Ooh, this has been a roller coaster of emotions since we have been developing this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually our second run at this episode.
Yeah.
Had a huge technical fart the other day where
It happens to the best of us.
it happens to the best of us. So
Yeah.
don't be
And I'm wearing
discouraged.
just this tie pants.
Oh, she's got her tight pants on.
It'll be a miracle if I make it without passing out.
Yeah, she's got her tight pants
I'm
on.
like holding my breath.
Stick till the end of the episode.
Wouldn't it be funny if I just plop like
So, if you stick until the end of the episode, you will see Veronica
passing out? I'm turning
because
blue.
her pants are too tight. So this is going to be a really fun episode. We're going to start the episode sharing the stories of two very popular TikTok influencers who ran into a bump in the road when it came time to make money or sell something to their followers. They're millions of followers.
Yeah.
And we're going to share sort of our thoughts on that. And you probably have heard of these TikTokers that we're going to be talking about as well, too. It was some pretty scandalous stuff.
Mhm.
And then from there, we're going to pivot and talk about the difference between an entrepreneur versus an entertainer on social media and why it may be better to be one over the other one.
Mhm.
And finally finish the episode up with some really
With
cool
some
takeaways
takeaways.
for you that you can implement into your own content strategy.
Yeah.
So why don't we start talking about the first influencer?
Yeah. So the first influencer is Brody Willmaker.
Hi, this is going to be the last video that I post for a while. Taking a break.
I've been following Brody since the pandemic 2020 when he started his TikTok account, and he's grown like exponentially.
He's pretty hilarious. You may know him as the guy in the robe who his shtick is raising a TikTok influencer or something like that, right?
So his mom barges into his room and he's making TikToks. And
Yeah, and
it's that kind of a. So he's a comedian.
He's a comedian, but he also plays his mother
Mhm.
who barges into the room, and he plays the son as
Yeah.
well. And whenever he's the mom, he puts on this robe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love Brody, but he got a little entitled lately. He invested $40,000 of his own money producing a film that he wanted to produce. And he featured the film on his Patreon account for his patrons. By the way, Brody has close to 3,000 members in his Patreon account.
Yes.
And he has millions of followers. I mean, he's over 20 million followers on TikTok. So he's huge. I ran into this video the other day on TikTok. I have a TikTok problem. I like to watch my TikTok tutorials for cooking and makeup and
people falling over.
and injuring themselves.
Yes.
Pretty bad.
There should be a whole social media platform that's just that. It could be called the Tick
How
Flop.
my kids call it is mom talk.
Mom talk, yeah.
Yeah. So this video captured my attention because it was him not with his fancy equipment and cameras and doing all that. It was just him with his phone, very upset, complaining about the lack of support that he got when he released his film.
Yes, and he said a few things that became hot items and then created scandal and controversy. Specifically, he said, be careful who you work with. And he was referring potentially to the people he worked with, some other very famous TikTokers to make this film.
We don't know. He just like threw it out in the air, but we
Yes.
don't know. Later, he posted a video saying that he didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So that was the one
Who
thing.
knows?
And then the other thing that he also said was that the algorithm and the platform doesn't care about you.
They don't care about
And so he was very hurt. He was very upset, and he was having his own little melodrama on camera about how hurt he was that out of these millions and millions of followers that he barely got any conversions. He barely sold any tickets or Patreon memberships to his film.
Yeah, and then he announced that he was going to take a break from the platform, and he was just very emotional. Like, he broke down.
Now there has been all sorts of critique on this, and Veronica mentioned what we saw a couple of fun gals on YouTube that like to get into influencers as well too. And they call this phenomenon the influencer entitlement.
Yeah.
I also like to think of it as the spotlight complex. It's something that Brianna West talks about in her book, The Mountain Is You, which is a really good book.
Yeah, you should read it.
And it's all about how it kind of has to do with being like even a people pleaser and being an overperformer and stuff. And how when we have this idea, especially when the spotlight's on us, it probably gets even harder to not have the spotlight complex. But we have this idea that people are really just always obsessing over us, that they care about us, that they're constantly thinking about us. When in reality, they're not. They're just thinking about themselves. The same way that you're constantly obsessively thinking of yourself and your life, it's the same thing. And even though that might be kind of upsetting to some people to think like, oh, people don't really care about you, and it is upsetting in the case of these influencers, it's actually freeing. It can be freeing because it can free you from that sort of, that extra stress that comes from having the spotlight on you. And you can realize that you're actually, even though you star in your content and you're the face of your content, that you can actually be there on behalf of your audience to provide value for them.
Yeah, and they were talking about the sense of entitlement that influencers have, just having extremely big audiences, a lot of followers, and it's like whatever I do, they have to buy it, they have to go to my meet and greet, they have to support me. When in reality, if you're not providing anything that they perceived has value, is just not going to happen. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that's one of the takeaways. That we're going to be is perceived value, and we're going to get there as well. But that's him.
That's him, and that
was
his
the other
reaction.
Day that his time away from TikTok his break from TikTok wasn't too long.
Oh, he's back.
No, he's back in posting.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
So hopefully he got over that one.
That whole scandal, that whole controversy caused a huge spike in his followers, and I wouldn't be surprised if also guilted some of his followers into coming over and watching the movie.
It almost got me.
It almost got you to do
my
it?
reaction was like, oh my gosh, because I know the heartbreak. I know the heartbreak of creating something
and the struggle
and
and that low conversion rate.
Yes.
But this is also what we're going to get into when we compare entertainers versus entrepreneurs.
Hey, I'm interrupting the episode for a little announcement. You know you have to create content to attract more prospects online, but the whole thing seems daunting and too much to figure it out on your own. Which social media platform should I choose? Should I start making videos for IG Reels, TikTok, or YouTube? What skills do I need to learn? What equipment do I need? Or maybe you're considering starting a podcast for your business. And if any of that's the case, we want to invite you to sign up for the waitlist for Smart and Simple Podcasting. It's our first coaching program where we, the Pod Sound School, will be teaching you how to create and launch a professional podcast from scratch. Content marketing, so your content is a lead generation machine for your business, and different ways to maximize every time you record so you can create micro pieces of content that will go on different social media platforms. We'll be holding your hand through the whole process, meeting weekly with you, making sure that you're not getting left behind. We'll be teaching students and clients about podcast and video production and marketing for 4 years. Our approach to teaching is straightforward, innovative, and fun. So hurry up and go to podcastingsmart.com/waitlist to sign up, or find the link in the description of this episode. Stop working so hard on your content. Make your content work for you. Now back to the episode. And then the other case is this Nigerian, really cute girl, and she's on TikTok too. Her name is Grace Africa.
I wanna go home.
And she attended Vidcon. She had a place there for a meet and greet. Her followers were supposed to go there and
she was hyping it up beforehand.
Yeah, she was hyping it up, and she made these cute little bracelets for her followers.
And she was going to sell those bracelets, right?
I don't know if she was going to sell those or she was going to give them away. But she posted a video of her standing there alone. Nobody showed up from her audience. And back at the time, she had close to 1 million followers. So she posted a video like nobody came, and she was, calling her mom. But the way that she took it was a little bit different than Brody. And I think she understood, like, listen, like, these people don't owe me anything. The things that I post on TikTok and what I do is because I want to. Not because my audience should feel obligated to me. And she just got over that one really quick and got back on the platform really quick.
Yeah.
But it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for me to see that, and because I'm a creator too.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting in both of these cases is both of their reactions had a positive effect on the growth of their TikTok channels. So that's really interesting. And although I would say that her reaction was the better reaction of the two, like don't make it about me, like the melodrama. Both are effective strategies if you want to grow your channel. And it kind of, I think, hints and shows us that maybe in these times of where everything's virtual, and of course after the pandemic where we got all virtual, that human connection is we crave it so much that maybe that's why when people are overly emotional or they cry or they break down or they're vulnerable on camera, that performs so well. Those become the most viral videos.
Yeah, they do.
That brings into question from an entrepreneur, from your business, and from the standpoint of being a content creator who might be making content for your business, or if you're trying to generate sales or leads. Even if you are an entertainer, maybe you ought to think about it in terms of business. That brings that into question, like, should I televise my emotional freakouts?
My breakouts. Yeah. Did I say breakouts?
You can televise your breakouts too. That would be a big one. You break out those.
What I say.
Break out the pimples. Should I advertise my pimple cream?
My breakups.
Yes. Breakups? Oh,
if you break with your partner, no?
Oh, yeah. Breakups, freakouts, breakdowns. Well, cool. So I think that we already kind of started pivoting into, let's talk about the difference between entrepreneurs on social media platforms and creators on those platforms versus entertainers on those platforms. Obviously, there can be a blend between the two. But if you start off on the platform as an entertainer, that's when you're going to get yourself into this pickle of the fact that vanity metrics are so exciting, but 20 million followers. And what I was surprised about was that, he only put 40,000 into the film. I mean, the lowest of the low budget indie films are 5 million.
Yeah.
So I was just surprised by the whole business model, maybe the lack of any business or the lack of any marketing there at all. So that maybe is kind of the problem when entertainers who are very talented and they provide so much needed release and so much needed like comfort, especially during the time of the pandemic when TikTok was so important and played such an important role in so many people's lives to like stay entertained and positive and connected.
There's a lot of YouTube channels and TikTok accounts with vloggers, people taking you, inside their homes and their relationships and the day-to-day.
On their travels.
And then you wonder, like, how much money do they make? They have millions of followers, but are they really making that much money? Yeah.
And in order to do that, the lifespan of entertainers can be shorter than the lifespan of an entrepreneur. And versus an entrepreneur who just comes onto a platform for the first time, they already have products in place, or at least they have intentions of a product that they will eventually sell. They have services. Maybe it's an online course. Maybe it's coaching services, editing services, or any kind of digital physical products that they want to create. And so they have that to begin with. So getting famous on the platform or those vanity metrics weren't really as important to begin with for them. And then also, in addition to that,
they don't have to wait until they have millions of followers to start making money. They start making money from day one.
Yeah. So if you look at an entertainer who's making maybe AdSense or any of the ad revenue that comes in from TikTok when people tip and the super tips or whatever they're called on TikTok, I'm unfamiliar with that. And then also the any kind of affiliations they might have, merch. all of those things are a little bit of chump change for the most part.
Yeah, you have to get in the millions of followers
and millions,
for you
and
to
even
make
then,
decent.
Yeah, I mean, then you can maybe make some Amazon associate money or some affiliation money from any partners that you partner with. You're looking at, you could say like 10,000 views of a video could convert into $4. Whereas for an entrepreneur, 10,000 views might convert into $400 as far as signing somebody up to one of their programs or, selling a couple, 2 or 3 of their online courses, right?
Yeah,
when they're
because
first starting
you
off.
are providing value.
Yeah, and so for that reason, the longevity, the lifetime of the entrepreneurs on these platforms is a lot longer. That's pretty cool. But I think what the coolest thing is,
or you can be both.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like if you have the personality, if you happen to be one of those rare breeds between being very good at business, having a business, being an entrepreneur, and also being an entertainer, then you're all set.
You're all set. You're good to go.
Yeah, you're good to go because you can bring that spark into your content.
Yeah, and if you're more entertainment inclined, you can learn more about business. You can listen to podcasts like this. You can read marketing books, sales books, all of those things. And then likewise, or on the other side, if you're an entrepreneur, you can also like watch our YouTube channel where we have lots of tips about camera performance and getting comfortable in front of the camera and how to edit and how to make better videos and take online courses about video production or audio editing and acting and the art of rhetoric and speaking and how to be more entertaining on camera.
Yeah.
And with that, I think now we can move on to our takeaways.
The takeaways.
Which basically, we kind of just did some takeaways, but let's leave them with a couple more.
So the takeaways are, just have in mind that when you have an audience, there are 2 questions that they have in their minds. And is so what and what's in it for me? We are selfish beings by nature. We consume things that we have an interest in.
Yeah.
So when you're creating your business, when you're creating your content, just have that in mind. Have that person, your ideal person, your ideal audience in mind, instead of just creating blindly and wish
for yourself.
that they have the same interest as you.
Yeah. And do research, develop a relationship with them, find ways to actually speak with them, to talk with them, to get inside of their minds. The more that your journey as a content creator and even as a business owner can become about developing and nourishing your relationship with the people that you want to sell your products to, the more successful you're going to be. Because in sales, it's all about solving problems for people. And it's the same thing in business and in marketing.
Yeah.
And so if Brody, for example, could have pivoted his content in a way or gone back to the drawing board instead of having a melodrama and said, okay, that didn't work. Let's do this again. Let's collect data. I'm going to get these people into some type of a survey situation.
Or let's feature the film in a different way. Let's bring a
try
marketing
some different
expert.
things. Let's package it differently. Let's work on a different messaging. Maybe I didn't target it correctly. All of those things. And then he'd be making millions of dollars from his millions of followers. And that's what we would like for you as well.
Yeah. The second takeaway is marketing. Learn how to market yourself. Learn how to market your projects, your products. This is very important. I think marketing is something that gets forgotten and ignored.
Yeah, and definitely.
And it's everything. You're not going to make any sales if you don't have a good marketing strategy put in place. Because how are you going to bring eyes to your product, to your service, to your project? Is through marketing.
There should always be a marketing and a sales book on your bookshelf or in your library that you are cycling through and adding to your intellectual assets.
And if you are not a business owner, if you're not a content creator, if you're just somebody who happens to be watching this video because you think my pants are too tight.
And you're wondering if she's going to pass out.
You're wondering if I'm going to pass out, or you don't like my makeup, or my hair's wet, whatever. You are the product. Even when you are applying for that job, when you are trying to work on a project with a colleague, with a company, even if it's just you can create an online presence that will make you attractive to employers, to other people.
Yeah.
So when you go and show up for your interview, then they're going to be like, yeah, this is the person because we've seen what he has built online.
Yeah. And in this age, attention is currency. And so the more of it that you can grab, the better
Yeah, I
off
wish I
you'll
would
be.
have known that.
I know, right?
I thought that I didn't have to care about, and I just posted pictures of my Frenchie. And our last takeaway is, if this has happened to you, if you have launched something and it wasn't successful, it has happened to us.
Yes.
If you posted a piece of content that didn't perform, if you have been through the heartbreak of having something failing miserably, just dust yourself off.
Go back to the drawing board.
Go back to the drawing board, gather data, and keep posting things and keep trying new things to see what works for you.
Yes. Collect data and see what works for you and stay consistent.
Yeah, don't get discouraged.
And be dedicated
Give
to
yourself
improvement.
5 minutes to freak out. Just 5 minutes. You freak out, you cry, and then after those 5 minutes, okay, let's just put the tie pants on and move on.
All right. And until the next Content Jefe episode, good luck with your content creation.
Yeah, follow me on social media at Pad Sound School. I didn't pass out.
That's too bad.
Bye.